They pitched back-to-back shutouts after that absolute disaster in Carolina on Thursday night.
Thursday night, 8-2.
Got their asses kicked.
Yeah.
8-2. I didn't think Montgomery was going to make it to Philadelphia. He did. They pitched a shutout. They come home yesterday, beat Seattle. Another shutout. Back-to-back shutouts. Korpisalo and Swayman. Against two of the worst teams in the league, or Seattle's on a big, East Coast trip. So, you're good spots, but still, given where they were, surprised. And then last night, for the third period, Jim Montgomery benches David Pastrnak, and that's what those guys were talking about there on Ness and Barry Peterson and Billy Jaffe, obviously. The benching of David Pastrnak for ostensibly what was a turnover at the end of the second period. Mazz, your thoughts?
So, look, I give Montgomery a lot of credit for this. He's going after the big fish. And this whole idea of, as I said to you with Brown checkmark last week, that the Bruins have a quote-unquote leadership problem. Well, he's gone after the captain and an alternate. So maybe there's a message there, too. But good for him. It was a horrible turnover by Pastrnak at the end of the second period.
And he didn't even try.
Horrible.
Didn't even try to go after. He just lollygagged after he turned that puck over, too. So this is, to me, old show reference, this is like me at the end of FNX putting the onions in the drop ceiling. If you're going to go out, you're probably not going to make it, because I'm still not convinced he makes Thanksgiving. Start MFing, guys. I think this is what this was last night. Oh, if I'm going to go down, well, F you then. This is what you're going to play like for me? Your ass is on the bench. Go F yourself.
Yeah, and just quickly, before the turnover, too, in the offensive zone, there was a loose puck just beyond, let's call it in the slot area, but really a little bit closer to the face-off circle. Pastrnak just kind of half-assed it. He didn't pursue the puck. He completely dogged it.
He's been out in space this whole season.
I mean, if you were to watch the 10 or 15 seconds before the turnover that he made, he half-assed it in the offensive zone. He wasn't interested. And as Murray was saying, I kind of interpret this as Montgomery saying, okay, you guys aren't going to hold your teammates accountable. I'm going to hold you accountable. So to me, that's what it feels like.
Okay, three things. One, this is a reversal from the Bruce Cassidy days, where Bruce Cassidy was accused of beating up the young kids but going easy on the veterans. And so I think this is a course correction from that. Remember how, psychologically damaged these kids were? Carlo and DeBrusque and these kids, because he yelled at me. He yelled at us before we got to the bench. And I guess there might have been a perception there that Bruce would only do that with the younger players and not the established guys. Well, Montgomery's doing just the opposite, and I say the same thing you do. Good for him. It's whoever just said it there, Jaffe or Peterson, you can't have tiered coaching. And so at least Montgomery's going after the head of the snake. The big fish is good for him. Absolutely. All right, so I'm into that. I'm also into, finally, someone holding Pastrnak accountable. And I blame you, the fans, as much as anything, because you all let Pastrnak get away with the way he plays as much as anyone. Because as soon as he scores, it's the pasta memes, and you're just so horned up for the goal score and the pasta and all this crap that you let him get away with. Just incredibly lazy, selfish play. And I feel like I just scream into the wind. I feel like I'm the only guy that just goes after him. But that turnover that you're mentioning at the end of the second period happens all the time. Constantly. And it really shows up on those power plays where he's entering the zone. I say it all the time. I'm watching the game, and here comes Pastrnak entering the zone on the power play, and I say out loud, this is going the other way. And it goes the other way, like every time. I don't know how the NHL computes giveaways, but when I watch the games, I'm like, this guy's got to have like 8 or 9 giveaways in this game. And I look at the sheet, and he ends up with 2. So I don't know how they judge them, but the guy is a turnover machine. Completely selfish, lazy style of play. And it's infuriating to me. I think it's insulting that no one else, it feels like, calls him out on it. Like he's some sort of protected class because he scores goals. He plays like an a-hole half the time. And that giveaway on that power play at the end of the second period was a perfect example. And then, yes, he absolutely jaked it the rest of the shift because a couple of Bruins go back and get the guy that stole the puck. It doesn't end up anything, but all they do is they circle back, and the next thing you know, there's a 2-on-1 on the same sequence. And I didn't go back and see exactly what Pastrnak was doing, but I'm sure he was just gliding to the bench. So finally, thank God someone finally just said, enough. Stop it. And I wish more commentators, more writers, more the Nesson guys, more of you called him out for the way he plays. Completely selfish and irresponsible and borderline insulting. Okay. So good for Montgomery. Number 3, and maybe most importantly, it didn't work. Because through 2 periods, the Bruins led in shots 30-10. They were all over them. 30-10 in shots, 2-0 on the scoreboard. You know what the shots were in the third period? 13-3 for Seattle. So here is another example of Jim Montgomery pushing a button, and not only it not working, it going in the other direction. They still ended up winning. Seattle hit a couple posts. I think Seattle hit 2 posts in the game. Maybe it was in the third period or not, but they at least hit 1 in the third, and kind of took it to the Bruins in the third period after Montgomery sends this message. After he pushed Marchand in Utah a couple weeks ago, they gave up the game-tying goal in the third period, lost in overtime. All these times that he switched his lines and threw them into the blender, they've gotten waxed. So everything he does falls on deaf ears and doesn't work. So that's the bad news. But thank God, someone has got to call out Pastrnak for the way that he plays. It's gross. I'm done.
Yeah, so look, again, he got no argument from me. The one thing I will say is they did play better in the 2 games as a whole. Which
stuns me.
I know, me too. I didn't see it coming.
So I don't know what's going on there. I was hoping for something on so Saturday was the real stunner to me because they were just such a dead-ass team. They start Korpisalo, and they pitch a shutout with Korpisalo and played one of their better games.
And he was good.
And I said to myself, interesting. So, because we've been trying to figure out just what the hell is wrong with the team. Like, something's infected it. There's something not right. On ice, off ice, adjacent between the two. Like, we talked about this on Friday. Like, if you want to connect some dots on the periphery, like, it just feels something's wrong.
So did you start to think, like, Swayman resentment after that game?
Oh, so,
Saturday?
like, some callers brought that up on Friday, and I dismissed it because I think mostly, whether you're liked or disliked in a locker room, players generally stick together on the contract stuff. But maybe, just maybe, I don't know. I mean, I certainly was down on Swayman the way he carried himself during that thing. I think he was like kind of a putz. And so I wonder if... So anyway, when they got the shutout for Korpisalo, I'm like, oh, let's see this. And I wanted them to play Korpisalo yesterday. Go back to him yesterday. But they went with Swayman, and it was another shutout. So who knows? But, I don't think Montgomery's out of the woods by a long shot.
No way.
And... well, to me, I'm just thrilled someone finally did something about Pastrnak. Something has to change with the way that he plays. Because I'm sorry, it's not offset by the goals that he scores. It's not. The elite, the true elite guys score goals and don't have that many turnovers. They don't. Sorry.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Bruins analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.